I'm Ben Lance, Executive Advisor to APC Media. That would include Power Systems Technology Magazine, Transformer Technology Magazine, and Women in Power Systems Magazine. We're here today in Paris, France at the CIGRE 2024 conference, talking with industry thought leaders, interviewing them to gain their insights into the trends, challenges, and solutions, and bringing those insights to you. Our next guest is John Gounaris, Global Vice President for G&W Electric in marketing.
Pleasure to be here, Ben.
John.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, to start off, I want to ask, we want to get into the thought leadership and where you see the industry going.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, I want to ask you, so how did you get into the industry, Jim?
Almost by accident. G&W was not my first job out of university, but I was a pretty young guy, really just answering an ad back when jobs were in newspapers, whatever those are now.
Right.
And I was interested to get back into an engineering field, working for a company that had kind of a technical product, but allowed me to be customer facing because I wanted to be technical, but I wanted to be able to interface with customers. And there was a job like that at G&W Electric. And I answered the ad and they ended up hiring me. And so I had kind of an entry level, like sales support, proposal support, like engineering type job. And that was way back in 2001. So it was a long time ago.
Great. Well, I love that story because it shows, the young people now, how they can get in the industry.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an exciting industry, and I'm sure there's all kinds of things that you see from your perspective, but that's really a great story. So your current role, Global Vice President of Marketing for G&W Electric, from your perspective, what are some of the challenges that you're seeing in the industry, some of the trends?
Well, so if we start back for when I first started in this industry, this was an industry that was well known for having a lot of stability. Electric power was very important 20 years ago. It's even more important now, but it was steady, stable, right? And really what we've seen in the last 20 years is, we've seen the realities of climate change. And that is driving a lot of conversation around decarbonizing the grid. That means removing carbon primarily from generation sources, but it can be from literally any piece of equipment that you have in transmission, distribution, and whatnot. And that decarbonization effort sort of naturally plays into a decentralized grid.
Right,
and
distributed energy.
Yeah, so we're talking about the advent of distributed energy, which has become a significant part of the generation fleet in the last 20 years. And the realities of controlling a grid that is decentralized is fundamentally a different problem than how the grid used to operate, which primarily had a number of large power plants located in strategic areas, typically outside of the major power centers. And then you had, transmission lines and distribution lines that flowed power in a single direction to where people lived.
Right.
Well, we are beginning to transition to a grid where that's not really the reality anymore. You've got power kind of going in all different directions. And these multi-way power flows are ultimately, they're much more complex, much more difficult to provide protection and control of the grid. And what that's leading to is an injection of intelligence and just a spreading of digitalization throughout the industry, basically to be able to see, to be able to control, to be able to predict what's going to happen in this much more complicated environment in which our grid operates.
See, control, predict.
Yeah.
That's a good framework.
Yeah. So
those are some of the challenges and trends. So what is G&W Electric bringing to the grid and to the marketplace that solve some of those challenges?
Well, I think it's important to start with kind of where we came from. So G&W Electric is it's a company that it's located in Bolingbrook, Illinois, which is a suburb of Chicago. And it was started by two engineers from our local electric utility company, Commonwealth Edison.
Sure.
So G&W are Gear and Williams, the name of the two gentlemen that started the company. They had a great idea for a new product. And we're talking about the dawn of the electric era, right? This is 1905 we're talking
about. The first electrification.
Yes, generation one.
Right.
So, and historically speaking, the company has developed many new products, many new innovations, but we've been primarily focused on distribution and transmission solutions. On the distribution side, we've had multiple generations of switchgear technology. And on the high voltage side, we've done multiple generations of cable accessory terminations and joints. But we all
famous for that.
Yes, exactly. It's kind of the first product that started the company. But we're also known for system protection solutions, and we also now do automation solutions for our switchgear products. So it's a company that's grown quite a bit from what we started from in 1905. And so the industry knows us as an apparatus company, right? That began to move into system type solutions, particularly when we got into automation about 20 or so years ago. And what we see as a way for us to move forward is to continue to move up the solution paradigm, so to speak, and start going beyond just simply providing equipment for well understood problems. And I think the reason for that is I kind of laid out the picture before of the grid that we're entering, where it's much more complicated and utilities need help to understand how to solve those problems. And I think that the best way for manufacturers to move forward, and really the best way for G&W to move forward, is to be very keen, listen to what our customers are telling us. My personal opinion is that there is not going to be a single manufacturer that's going to be able to provide all the solutions
for sure
to the grid's problems. So we all have to be a little bit choosy about what we do. And so for a company like G&W, given our size, we need to focus in on those use cases where we think we can add unique innovation and contribution to solving the grid's problems, and working with utility partners closely in developing those solutions, and then figuring out how to engineer and scale those things to make those solutions available throughout the industry.
Wow. Anything in particular that you're highlighting here at CIGRE or really in the marketplace as far as solutions?
Well, that's interesting you should mention that. I mean, so as part of the exhibition piece of CIGRE, and has been a regular part of our exhibition tour in the last couple of years, is a product that really was born of what we're seeing as some of the new challenges that are being faced in the grid. And that's our 72 kV Viper HV. And this is
right. I think I saw that over your booth.
Yeah, it's the big guy over in the corner.
Big thing, right?
Yeah, that's the big guy.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's a vacuum interrupter, solid insulation, so there's no oil, there's no gas, there's
no SF6,
no SF6 at all. That can do sectionalizing, can do interrupting, circuit breaking, reclosing,
and that can be mounted right on a
pole,
right?
Right. You don't need to build a substation for this device. And
that's innovative.
What we found by working with our utility partners is that there was a need to extend the sectionalizing and protection capabilities more common in the substation, and be able to do so outside of the sub.
Right.
Something that we do every day in distribution, but a solution really wasn't available in the sub-transmission market. So through a lot of innovation, patience, and so on and so forth, we were able to bring a product to market a couple of years ago, and it's been quite successful for us.
Wow. Yeah, that's quite a story. And I can only imagine, with, like you said, some of the dynamics of power flow, of renewables, distributed generation, the weather impacts from climate change. It's this is really a useful tool for the utilities to solve a number of those challenges.
Yeah, and it's been a lot of fun going out there and educating customers, right? It's this is what's unique about this time, is that there are problems that are being faced on the grid where the utilities don't know what the solution is. So they're not coming to you and say, I need this to solve that problem. It's I have this problem, help. Right? And so we have an opportunity with this product and others where we have an ability to educate. Like, okay, you have that problem. Here's a solution that can solve that problem. Let me tell you how it does that.
Right.
And that's a completely different sell, but that's also a wonderful feeling, to be able to do that for a utility and be able to share that with the whole industry. It's very cool.
Right. And I would imagine that's a big part of why you're here at CIGRE. So that regard, what makes you excited about being here at CIGRE 2024 in Paris, France?
Well, our commitment as a company to CIGRE goes back many, many years, so decades. And our feeling is that this is a technical community that has wonderful knowledge sharing. They're really in service of this amazing industry that we're all a part of. This industry is going through transformational change right now, and we need organizations like CIGRE to educate the industry, educating customers, highlighting what are the mega trends of the day, where technology is going. It's a very important institution for sharing knowledge, educating the greater community in the power industry of where we're heading. And so for us, it's a key element of a lot of our innovation efforts to stay very close to CIGRE, participate in the working groups, in the committees, and really drive that. So it's core to us.
That's great. That's great. And I saw that one of your technical folks got some kind of recognition too.
Yeah,
another second generation of.
Second generation. Yes, that's right.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, he chairs the A3 subcommittee for transmission and distribution equipment, which is pretty core to what G&W does. But it was quite an honor to have a member of our company chair that committee for the last number of years, and it's been wonderful, the contacts that we've been able to build, what we've been able to learn about what's going on in the industry, and frankly build the prestige of our organization internationally,
right?
Because we do contribute to such a respected institution such as CIGRE at that level.
Fantastic. Well, are there any other final comments you'd like to make to our audience?
No, I think I pretty much covered it all.
You did. You really did.
Yeah.
John, it's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you.